Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, Bitcoin has been on fire and it looks like it's going to be headed higher as well. But if you don't want to spend upwards of $20,000 to invest in Bitcoin, this company's stock could be moving up right alongside it. And in this video, I'm going to tell you who this company is, what they do, and how I plan to trade them, as well as go over some other great looking charts that I see in the market right now. Well, if you're new to my channel, I like to look for short-term and long-term trading opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. I like to find undervalued, underappreciated stocks with high growth potential and talk about all other things finance-related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. And also remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks. The company I'm going to be talking about in this video is called RIOT Blockchain Incorporated. Now, RIOT Blockchain focuses on Bitcoin mining, supporting the Bitcoin blockchain by participating in Bitcoin's consensus system through proof-of-work mining and racing to find the next block and building upon that chain. They aim to be one of the largest and lowest-cost producers of Bitcoin in North America. Bitcoin mining is RIOT Blockchain's strategic focus, and they are committed to the expansion of their operations. And RIOT is one of the largest U.S.-based publicly traded Bitcoin miners in North America, and they are constantly working to improve their efficiency and production. RIOT Blockchain has invested in unique projects which decentralize markets, combining real-world applications with an active development team, fundamentals, and large addressable markets. One of the companies they're invested in is called TestPay. Now, TestPay plans to develop a blockchain-based escrow service for wholesale telecom carriers that guarantees payment in full and on time. Rather than entering into a traditional written legal agreement, carriers would enter into a Test Smart contract, and all Test Smart contracts would be funded and paid for with Test US dollar minute tokens. Another company they're invested in is called Veride. And Veride provides cryptocurrency accounting and audit technology services through Verinet, where financial institutions, corporations, and individuals can audit, account, and report on blockchain assets. Veride believes traditional accounting systems, firms, and standards are currently lacking functionality around cryptocurrencies. Now, Verinet will be the bridge between cryptocurrencies and traditional financial accounting, which is needed to further their acceptance and growth. At the moment, there's only one analyst with coverage of RIOT Blockchain, and he works for H.C. Wainwright & Company, and his name is Kevin Deedy, and he currently has a buy recommendation on them. Now, if we go over to tipranks.com, we can see the coverage that he has on other companies, as well as see how he ranks. He has a success rate of 35% and an average annual return of negative 6.8%, so take all of that information for what it's worth. All right, well, I'm going to go over their latest earnings report super quick, and then I'm going to touch base on the financials super quick after that as well, and then we're going to get into the fun stuff. We're going to get into the charts, but this is their latest earnings report, and as we can see, it looks pretty good. They're saying they increased mining revenue by 21% to $6.7 million for the 9-month period ending September 30th, 2020, as compared to $5.6 million in the same 9-month period of a year ago. And they saying that they increased cryptocurrency mining revenue margin to 38% for the 9-month period ended September 30th, 2020, as compared to 18% during the same 9-month period in 2019. And they also increased margin cryptocurrency mining revenues in excess of cost of revenues during the 3-month period ended September 30th, 2020 to 47%, indicating performance improved in the latter part of the 9-month period that ended September 30th, 2020. Now, excluding stock-based compensation, they decreased SG&A expenses to $5.1 million for the 9-month period ended September 30th, 2020, as compared to $6.7 million during the same 9-month period in 2019. So as we can see, this report is showing that things are starting to pick up for RIOT Blockchain. All right, so let's jump over to Seeking Alpha real quick and check out some of the financials on RIOT before we jump into the charts. First, let's take a look at the revenue. As we can see, the revenue is pretty much non-existent until 2018 when they came at $7.8 million, but it has fallen to $6.8 million in 2019. And if we look at their gross profit, pretty much the same story. That was up to $7.5 million, but it fell to $6.3 And if we look at their net income, which is one of the other things I like to look at on this page, we can see that the net income was falling heavily, but they have improved it in 2019, cutting it from a negative 58 million to a negative 20 million. So at least that is going in the right direction. Let's jump over to the balance sheet real quick. Let's go to cash. Now, if we look at the cash and cash equivalents, we can see that it was pretty much non-existent. They had a huge inflow in 2017, excuse me, which is probably from issuing shares, I would imagine. But it fell into 2018, and they issued some more, and they are up to 7.4 million. Another thing I like to look for is the total liabilities. Total liabilities, see, has been coming down since 2017 from 52.3 million to 30.4 million. And the reason why this company has been staying afloat, this is what I like to look at in smaller companies. I like to see how much shares they are issuing to raise cash to sustain their operations. We can see in 2015 the amount of shares outstanding was 3.9 million, and it has risen all the way up to 25.1 million as of December 2019. So this is how that they have been sustaining their operations. This is not what you want to see. This is very typical in lower price stock, but you want to see them get this under control eventually. For long-term investments, you'd like to see a company that's buying their shares back. I'm sure Walmart probably is. They're a big, mature company. Come on, I could never find it. Go to the shares. Outstanding, there it is. If you look at their shares outstanding in 2016, they had 3.2 billion. And as of January of 2020, they're down to 2.8 billion. So they have been decreasing their float, and that is always good for the stock share price. And that's what you want in a long-term investment if you can get it. Another one I'm sure that's buying stock back is Apple. They're always announcing share buybacks. Let's go down and check them out if I can find it. I never find that one. There it is. Okay, here's Apple's. 2016 had 21.3 billion shares outstanding, and it has since fallen all the way down to just over 17 billion. So Apple is definitely going in the right direction. They are one of the bigger share buyback companies out there, and that is always good for the share price because you are reducing the supply out there. But that is what you want to look for in a long-term investment. Unfortunately, RIOT is going the other way, but like I said, that is typical for lower price stocks. You just hope that they can get that under control sooner rather than later. All right, well, before I get into my trading platform, I do want to take a look at the price of Bitcoin on the CoinDesk website. As we can see, man, it had a huge run in 2018 when it topped out right around $17,000. And then it had the steep fall off, and I actually considered buying some when it was under 5,000. But I got a little too greedy. I wanted to wait until it got to around 2,500, and it never made it that far. I don't even think it made it down to 3,500. But man, that would have been a great buy under 5,000 because it has since started trucking right back up to almost 17,000 again. And it looks like it's probably going to make a new all-time high. So, if there is any companies out there that do the fractional shares of Bitcoin, let me know that down in the comments. I haven't really looked into that, but I think I would like to start accumulating some Bitcoin fractionally if I can. You probably can't, but if there is, please let me know in the comments because I definitely think that Bitcoin is going to be making a new all-time high real soon, and this thing could really, really run. Okay, so let's get to my charts here. This is the current daily chart of RIOT Blockchain, ticker symbol RIOT. And as we can see, it had a huge day yesterday on massive volume. It's pulling back today. It's It's not that big of a deal on big volume as well, but there's always going to be bigger volume once you have a big day like that because a lot more people are taking notice and a lot more players are entering that market. But as we can see, this chart, if we go to the hourly chart, it's making that pattern that I talk about so much that I love. Starts making those higher lows and starts putting pressure on this upper resistance level. This chart, this company avoided my scan. Somehow it didn't make it through the filter, so I wasn't aware of it until it popped up yesterday on my scan, stocks that are up big on big volume. So unfortunately, I didn't even have a chance to see this one. For whatever reason, it did not show up on my scans, but this is what I love to look for. Hopefully you guys are looking for it now so you can see some of these winners before they take off. Okay, I have to check that one out a little later. RP, that was one of my alerts. That's how they let me know when something is crossed through one of my price targets, and I usually put that just above where I want to purchase, so I have some time to go in there and buy it. I'm going to ignore that one for right now, excuse me. Oh, but actually, let me get this stuff off the chart and I will show you. I am trying to actually build a scan for this right now. I don't know if I mentioned it in previous videos, but most changes in trends occur after false breaks, whether if it's going up after a false breakout or if it's heading down after a false breakdown. Now let me back this chart up just a little bit and I'll show you exactly what I mean. As we can see, blockchain from early August all the way to October was certainly in a downtrend. And when you're watching the structure of these trends, you're watching the resistance levels and how it reacts once it breaks through that. So if we look at this first box right here, this is a pretty decent, well, let me bring this down here. This is a pretty decent defined support area. And when the stock usually breaks through that support area, you want to see if it can get back above it right away. Now, what it did in this case was it came and it hit that support area because that comes resistance once you fall through it, and it could never get back above it. So that is telling me this trend is still down. And as it started to trend down, we watch for that next break. So if I move this down, this would be the next area of resistance. And it breaks one more time through it, and it kind of bounces. Actually, let me lower that a little bit because that's not the true support area because it did break below it in the beginning of it. But it broke through that support area and immediately popped right back in that same area. It didn't break down further and stay below it like it did here. So that is telling us that the trend is weakening, and this is what I consider a false breakdown. And if this happens before this pattern starts occurring, it makes me feel even more confident that we're eventually going to get a breakout to the upside, because I always want to see a false breakdown before the stock starts going up. That's just, for whatever reason, that it means that the trend up that is starting is probably going to be stronger and there's a better chance of it actually continuing. But I'm actually trying to write a scan for that right now in my software, and I'm having a hard time trying to get this combination here where it's making the consolidation, the triangle consolidation, putting pressure on that upper resistance area, and also finding a breakdown before that. So I am not a super code writer. So this is probably going to take me a lot of trial and error before I can find that perfect screen. But when you start adding a lot of different things in your screen, you make it harder and harder for stocks to actually fall into it, because if things aren't happening perfect for that code, then a lot of things don't, they make it through the screen. You know, they don't actually show up on my filter. So I try not to get too precise with my scans, but I would love to be able to make a filter that shows me this and then a false breakdown before it, because those are my favorite patterns to trade, and these scans make it a lot easier to find these things in the market, so you don't have to just keep, thumbing through every single chart out there. Excuse me. All right, the next one that I want to go over, what the heck is going on? The next one I want to go over is the other stock that I bought yesterday, and that was IDEX. IDEX is having a decent day so far. We can see that it is starting to confirm that rounding bottom. It's not up super huge, but it is having a decent day. It's up 12%, so that is better than being down. If I go to the hourly chart, you can see this is what I love to look for. I'm sorry if I am being repetitive, but I just want you guys to be able to find this for yourselves and trade more profitably if you're having a hard time. But once you see these lows start rising, you draw that support area, you wait for it to touch it, and break back above it. I think in yesterday's video, let me zoom in a little bit here. In yesterday's video, it was right around here, and I said if I couldn't get in at 102, I was going to buy once it broke over that 8-period exponential moving average, and that usually means the trend is going to go back up. I did end up buying at $1.09, so I am in this chart or this trade right now, and let me get this stuff out of here. I am going to see how far it goes. Hopefully it can ride this 8-period exponential moving average up over 150, so that would be fantastic. But when you guys are entering trades like this, I mean, these are higher probability, lower risk trades. Like if I bought here above that 8-period exponential moving average, this is where I'm going to put my stop loss. I'd probably put it. Actually, I have put it under this 200-day simple moving average. I have it at about 94. What the heck is going on here? Jeez. My software has a mind of its own today. I think it's pissed at me because I'm picking on it for not showing me RIOT earlier. But anyway, I have my stop at 94 cents right now. But this is basically, let me do it this way. This is basically my risk right now. And if this thing starts riding up, this is my potential gain. So you want to try to find these higher probability, lower risk trades. There's no guarantee this thing is going to make it up here, but if it does, that's going to be a fantastic trade. All right, let me get this stuff out of here. Let's go to the option trade that I have going on right now. Gilead, last I checked, yeah, it was just kind of hanging around. Earlier in the day, I did check the option price when it was up near the high of the day. I see it has pulled back since then. I checked it when it was about $61.60. And the option that I am in that I bought for 20 cents, it actually made it to 38 cents. So just on this minuscule move, it almost went up 100% on the day. So that's what happens when you're buying stocks that are kind of in these little consolidation pattern. The volatility kind of comes out of the option price, and you can get them for cheaper. One thing we can look at, excuse me, to see when option volatility is getting a little weaker is you throw your Bollinger Bands on there. You throw your Bollinger Bands on there, and you can see when price gets tight, volatility has come out. Usually those option prices are going to be just a little bit cheaper. And as we can see, if I zoom in a little bit, the Bollinger Bands were pretty close, and it had a nice little squeeze going on. So the price is going to be a little bit cheaper on that option. Now, if you can perceive these decent sized moves in the stock, let me get the Bollinger Bands out of here for a minute. If you can perceive these moves in advance when a stock might pop out, like when it's making this formation right here, and purchase your option before the breakout when volatility is still low, that's when you have a chance for those really big gains. I mean, just this tiny move on the day, the the option almost doubled. So imagine if we get a move like this, move that it had a few days ago tomorrow. If we get one of these, then that option the value of that option is going to be up, 300-400% pretty easily, especially if it happens tomorrow, since there's still a decent amount of time left on that contract. The longer it goes with just hanging around in this area, obviously the time decay is going to start to erode that option. But if we get one of these tomorrow, you're going to see. I'll probably be tempted to close the trade if we get something like this tomorrow. At least a couple of the contracts. But if we get one of these tomorrow when I get out, I will definitely show you the option chain and what it did to it. But this could end up being a very decent very decent trade because let me get this out of here. Let's go intraday. We can see it is still continuing the uptrend. So if we go a little bit closer, so let me go intraday. We can see that the trend is still up. And if we go back to the daily, it already made a higher high and it's making a higher low. So this is technically the start of the uptrend as long as it holds these levels. So there is a very good chance, unfortunately, there is this ugly blue line sitting just above price, so that could pose a problem. This trade has some problems ahead of it. Or I should say some obstacles ahead of it. It has that 50-period simple moving average right there, and then of course it has this resistance area. But I have a feeling it is going to blast through there, and I am going to be rewarded, hopefully. But that is how Gilead is doing right now. If we look at another stock that I had talked about was FUV. I talked about this one yesterday. When we get like these pullbacks, and it holds above that 8-period exponential moving average, this is no reason to panic. And as you can see, hopefully if you were in this stock, you did not panic sell yesterday because it is screaming higher again. And if any of you are in this stock, or I don't know if FUV has options or not. I don't think it does, but if it does and you guys bought some of those calls, and congratulations. Let's look at the other one I did a video on, which is Solo. I'm not back in this one again. But this one is still strong. I mean, go into the hourly chart. Man, what a nice looking chart pattern right now. This thing looks like it's going to bust to new highs any day now because this thing is still strong. Now, I have a couple more that I have on my watch list that I'm going to show you guys. I'm looking for pullbacks in most of them because they have been very strong. First one is GCI. I gotta stop typing so hard. My wife tells me I type too hard. But this one is GCI, and we can see that this one is breaking out quite nicely from a rounded bottom. If we look at the hourly chart, the trend has totally started to accelerate, so this is not something you want to be chasing. If you want to participate in this stock, you better wait for a pullback, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to be waiting for a pullback on this one because I don't think the run is done on this one. If it can pull back to this 8-period exponential moving average, or maybe even to this support area right here, I think that I would like to buy some of that one. Another one that I'm watching, or I said I was watching, actually this one kind of makes me sick to my stomach to look at because I've been watching this one for a couple of weeks. And for whatever reason, I kind of forgot about it. And if we look at the hourly chart on this one, let me back it out a little bit. This was doing exactly what I love. Had that false breakdown. The price came right back into the previous consolidation, and it started to move higher. And I started watching it right around the 12th after I saw this false breakdown, because I was watching the consolidation before that. Let me move back out a little bit. Started watching these higher lows, this weak creeping trend, and putting pressure on this upper resistance area, and then we had the explosion. There was just too many on my watch list for the last couple of weeks. Before the election, I was having a hard time finding pretty much anything. And now that the election is over, it seems like that's in the clear. People are starting to buy again. Now I have like too many on my list. I just can't buy them all. But man, what a explosion out of this This consolidation, my goodness. This one is making me a little nauseous to look at because I missed the train on that one. Oh well, there'll be more. There'll be more tomorrow or the next day. But another one I'm looking at is NETE. And we can see this one is coming out of a rounded bottom and it is starting to move higher. It has already found support at the 200-day simple moving average here, and then it retested it, and now it's taking off again. Let me get that out here, and let's go to the hourly chart. Now we can see that this one is really starting to pick up steam. It's got these lows here. Didn't have a false break, or at least not one that was super easy to see. But now we are starting to get the acceleration into this trend, and it has come down and touched the previous top, or I should say the resistance area the resistance area. Now it's support. So NETE looks like it could be starting its move higher. Very nice looking chart in NETE, sorry. Next one to look at is EVGN. This one is starting to come out of this downtrend. It has broken above the moving averages that were just above it. The 50-period simple moving average is still ahead of it. But if we go to the hourly chart, we can see that it is starting to carve out a bottom. There's a low. There's a low. Now my ideal situation would like to see it pull back to maybe this blue line and then start another move up, and that's when I would start getting a little bit more interested. This move right here, these two resistant or support holds, and this is not enough for me. I want to see more confirmation that we're starting to round up, but this definitely is a nice looking pattern in the making right here. One more that I want to see is AXTI. Trying not to pound on the keys. But this one has already started its trend acceleration. We got the lows getting higher. We got the weak trend, the weak creeping trend, like I like to say it. And then we've got the blast higher. I'd love to see a pullback and make a nice entry point for me to get in here. This one is very strong, and it is taken off. You can see this nice rounding bottom, and there is evidence of a false breakdown and getting right back above this area of consolidation and starting to move higher. I love seeing these false breakdowns before these weak trends start going. For some reason, it seems like a lot of my biggest winners have that characteristic. So that's something else you guys need to keep an eye out for. I do want to show you guys my favorite stock, Tesla, because it looks like Tesla is starting to move higher. And I was actually accumulating some more of Tesla. This was kind of nice, this little consolidation that I had. I was accumulating more Tesla in my M1 finance account, and that is my biggest position. And now it looks like it could be moving higher and blasting out of this long consolidation, this about 3.5-month consolidation. So Tesla is looking very healthy. So I am definitely happy to still be in Tesla. And some of the other stocks that we're getting, some of the other stocks that were getting beat down are showing some signs of strength. There's Workhorse. Workhorse is moving back above the 50-period simple moving average. So Workhorse looks like it is getting strong again. There is that false breakdown. After it had the move down, then it moved right back into the consolidation. And that gives it the foundation to start moving higher. And then you start looking for those higher lows. This isn't a super strong pattern in Workhorse, so this one isn't, twisting my arm to get in. But if you were watching Workhorse close, you would have noticed that false breakdown, the move sideways, and then once it started to break higher and start making this weak trend, you know that you're at least in a weak uptrend for the moment. But it looks like it is starting to accelerate right now, because we had these highs and break back down into it, high, break back down into it. Now it broke higher, and it's holding this last high. So this last high right here has become support because it has held it, and this could possibly be a trend acceleration happening right now in Workhorse. So it is a very nice looking round up in Workhorse. So if any of you guys are in that, might be seeing some more higher prices real soon. And before I get out of here, someone posted in one of my videos, they wanted me to take a look at space at Virgin Galactic. I've thought about buying Virgin Galactic a couple times. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. And we can see that Virgin Galactic looks very bullish right now. This is sort of a cup and a handle. I mean, this is a worse looking handle than you want to see on a normal cup and handle pattern, but it is definitely starting to make that rounding bottom, and it looks like it could be blasting off, no pun intended, real soon here. Let me go to the hourly chart, and wow, you can see this very, very nice looking pattern. You had this trend moving down, started to break down. I wouldn't call that a false breakdown. It just held support, but it immediately popped back above it. Let me get that out here. But the one that we had before that, it did exhibit that characteristic because the trend was starting to slow down, had that false break, immediately back into this consolidation. And this is the foundation. This is the first building block for the start of the uptrend if you're looking for it. Then you start watching for those higher lows. And if you start seeing this, there's no need to get worried if you're long. What you're waiting for is a break above and then a hold of a support level. This one's pretty sloppy because this has been breaking to a new high, back into the trend, breaking to a new high, back into the trend. New high, breaks back down, broke back down here on this gap down, but it did not hold, so strength was still in this stock. The buyers still had control, even though there was that gap down just a couple of days ago. And now it looks like it could be moving to a new high like really soon. So if I was in space right now, I would feel pretty good about my position because it looks like space should be heading to higher ground here pretty soon. Alright folks, well that's all I got for you. I'm going to end the video right there, but in the comments section, let me know if you own any of these stocks, and if you do, let me know if you have any projections for them. Also, if you want me to go over any charts of any other companies, make sure you leave that down in the comments section, and I will try to get to that in the next video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button for me, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care everybody.